So, say I'm super rich
Okay.
because...
And I'd love for you to be super rich. That'd be awesome.
Me?
Yeah.
Why? Because you want some of my money?
Maybe. No, I'm just...
All right. Okay. So anyway,
Okay.
say I was super rich and I acquired all of that wealth through just being greedy as hell the whole time.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Like the worst form of it.
Okay.
And then I'm all the way rich,
Right.
like the richest person in the world,
Okay.
and I'm flying satellites and driving around
Flying satellites.
Cybertrucks and
Okay.
and yeah,
All right.
shooting rockets into space,
Okay.
doing all the stuff, but I was greedy the whole time.
Okay.
And that's the only reason I have it.
Okay.
But at that point, I guess become a Christian
Okay.
and realize that I shouldn't have done all that.
Right.
Now what do I do?
Oh man. I think you need to go before the Lord and say, Lord, what do I do? Like, because you're not going to, more than likely, you're not going to be able to make every wrong right.
Right.
In other words, you're probably not going to be able to go back and help or quote unquote fix or undo every person or every company you screwed over on the way to your accumulation of wealth. So I think it's that point, like, all right, Lord, here's where I'm at now. What do you want me to do with what I have? And I think the Lord would, I'd be very interested to see what the Lord would say. But I think a lot of it would be similar to like the other person who accumulated wealth by stealing from others, and that he had to go give back what he had taken, and even he put percentage more on top. And so I think there would be a lot of, all right, well, you've gained by stealing. Now it's time to give. And so then I think this would be what the Lord would have to. You just have to be before the Lord and say, Lord, how do I do that? And who do I give it to? And what do I do with this money?
Do you think greed is a big problem in our society? In America?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we have the whole phrase of like keeping up with the Joneses and everything else. I think I do. I think there's a greed that says, I want to.
Like in regular America, not just Christian America. Like
yeah. I'm talking about regular.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I was talking about. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Like regular America. Yeah, I think there's a greed to get. Okay, but I want to put a caveat with this too. I also think we're an incredibly generous country.
Okay.
I think that when you look at statistically who is giving the most to charity and to nonprofits, I mean, it is Americans. And so I think we're a very generous country in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's that Christian DNA that's still within us. Okay. That there's a generosity there. But I also think that in the midst of our economic boom and our economic growth and the urbanization and secularization of our society, that there's also a rising number of individuals that are not generous.
Okay.
Or that when they are generous, it's to be seen. Like, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I just gave away $1 million.
Do it for the gram.
Yeah. I mean, really. And so, which will probably just generate more money for you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there's a rising...
Spend money to make money.
Well, that is a truism as well. But I think there's this rising tide of the secularization part where we're probably not quite as generous as we once were. Now, I don't have the stats to support that. I have to go look that up, but that'd be my guess. And just percentage wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, so in other words, I guess I do think greed's a problem, but I also do think there are generous people still. And I think, and I will say this, I I have gone to a I'm serving a church that's in a more rural area now, and I am actually blown away by the generosity of these people, and it's more of a mindset thing, of to care for their community, to care for especially as a lot of these families have lived in this area for a really long time, and there's a sense of caring for the community, caring for each other. And I don't think you always see that in more urban settings or in larger city settings where people are very transient. There's not as much of a sense of community.
It's because everyone's just in your way.
Well, yeah, and there's
and
no,
you don't
like,
want to help them be there anymore.
And there's not like this great allegiance to a community because everyone's transplanted into it. You know, where like the community that I'm in right now, like people have been there for, decades, generations. Especially like in our church, you've got family members, like their parents, their grandparents, or great grandparents are buried out in our cemetery in the back of the church, and so there's such a connection to the area and to the community, and so there is a little different mindset there, and it's been very interesting to observe and to watch. There's some of the most giving people I've ever been around. So,
well, I said this last week, but Joseph's trying to score brownie points.
The church.
Jeez.
I'm just being truthful, man. I'm just being truthful.
People are so nice.
I didn't say they were all nice. I said they were all generous.
Generous.
Right. Nice is overrated.
Okay.